Welcome to episode 136 of Auto Off Topic. What's up, Brad?
Not much. What's going on, Andrew?
Not too much. Hey, we were out in Phoenix last week,
We were.
and you're still in Phoenix.
I am still in Phoenix. This is actually experimental podcast number one.
Yep. So whatever you just did came through loud and clear.
Don't do it again.
Nope.
I was literally just getting a water because I forgot to get it before we started.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll get better mics that won't pick up everything, but
Well, I'm literally just using a headphone mic,
yeah.
like for a cell phone. So
Yeah.
it works for now.
All right.
I'm
So,
not I'm not permanently out here yet, so we're not permanently set up yet. I just have this 1 week's episode will be like this, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's a good experiment. Make sure everything works.
all right. Cool. I came out Thursday night because Radwood was on Saturday in Vegas, and we'll get to that. But we hung out all day Friday, explored around in the Sapporo, and
Yeah, in the heat with no AC around Phoenix.
yeah, a car with a two-tone black roof. That was
Yep.
the first triple-digit day in Phoenix.
Which is unseasonably quick this year too.
Wasn't too bad. It was a little touch and go, but
It was. It was. It's not normally that hot here that quick. In fact, all this week where I've been here this week, it's been back in the 80s.
yeah.
It's been quite comfortable actually.
But we were having breakfast, and you suggested this place, Desert Valley Auto Parts, and I was like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah. So they had a TV show a few years ago, which is how I heard about them,
Yeah,
and they've been featured on some other TV shows since then.
yeah.
I think they were called Desert. No. And now I
Desert Car
probably should have
Kings.
Desert Car Kings. That's
Yep,
the one. Yep.
yep.
And it wasn't a particularly good show, but that's probably what happens when you take people that work at a junkyard and tell them to be on TV.
Right.
Yeah, it's not exactly the ideal television crowd because they've never been on television or in any kind of production, I would assume. So it wasn't the best show. They tried to do like a build show kind of deal with it, where they would rescue a car from the yard and put it back together, always under the typical TV deadline.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was full of fake drama and I'm sure, a lot of behind the scenes um, stuff that you didn't see on TV because there's no way they found all the parts to restore the cars in their yard.
Yeah. No, but it's like I never watched it. I never even heard of it. But you said there were also like the roadkill guys would go there occasionally.
I think that's the one they went to. I could be wrong. I know they go to some yard out here. I thought it was that one, but then after we were there, it looks a little different than on TV, but that's also always a possibility.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's literally probably a dozen or so vintage car yards out here.
Oh, okay.
So
I'll have to go find some more.
yeah, no, I've definitely been looking for a few more since then.
Yeah, because it was pretty cool. Because it's like out almost in the middle of nowhere, like north of Phoenix.
Yeah, it's
But
near an airport, but not like Phoenix Airport.
no, just like a regional airport. It's like on the outer edge of the entire sprawl of the city. And then it's like you walk in the front and they have all the cars you could buy that were kind of complete. And then out back, everything was just kind of stacked up in order, though. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it definitely was a different place. I went to Hidden Valley Auto Parts,
Oh, okay.
so I gotta find Hidden Valley Auto Parts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hidden Valley Ranch.
yeah.
They put dressing all over the cars. No, no, terrible.
No, that's a bad joke.
Yep.
Anyway, so let's find that one. But this place was cool too because it was something we would never see in New England. Because in New England, all these cars are crushed.
Yeah. Or they didn't even make it. Like, they're just rotted to the point where it's pointless to even keep them.
Yeah, they're not worth anything in parts
Yeah.
because all the parts you would want are junk.
Yeah.
So it was wild being able to walk around a junkyard looking at cars that have been not cared for the past 30 years that still are usable.
Yeah. Yeah. They were like I don't think there was anything newer than probably like 35 years old.
Yeah, as a general rule, like they had a couple of moderner vehicles that I think they're using to run parts around,
Yeah, but
like to drive around the yard. Like I saw a Camry and a Honda Passport,
yeah, but
and
that was about it.
yeah, that was a Caravan. That was about it.
Like
Everything
actually,
else,
yeah, in the yard was nothing really that new.
yeah, I didn't see anything really newer than like 85, 86.
Yeah, there
There
was
were
a
a couple of third gen Camaros and like G body Monte Carlos. That's about as new as it got.
yeah, and definitely almost all American stuff.
Yeah, the only non American stuff we saw was they were inexplicably three Austin Americas all parked together
Mm-hmm.
in the complete car section. A Fiat X19, a Yugo, and then there was a captive import, a Chevy Love, which is an Isuzu P Up or Pup,
Yep.
um, which was cool because it had a period four-wheel drive system installed in it too, which they weren't available four-wheel drive from the factory, so it would have been a dealer or aftermarket add-on.
Yeah, that always blew my
But
mind that you could do that back then. But I guess it
yeah,
makes
well, they
sense.
didn't offer them. They didn't offer them that way, so
Yeah.
the aftermarket was rife with them. It's kind of like air conditioning systems in the '90s.
Yeah. Or up till the 90s.
No, beyond the '90s. Remember, my sister bought a brand new car in 2008 with no AC,
Oh, that's
and
right. Yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
it was dealer installed afterwards.
Yeah. Yep.
She went with the cheapest possible car on the market, and then later on was like, "I want air conditioning." So for another $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever it was, they installed AC in the car,
Yeah, I do remember that. And that was only
and
like
that was recent
2008.
as '08.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
so it was
think,
more prevalent in the '80s and '90s, but
well, it was prevalent through like the 60s, 70s, all the way through the 90s.
yeah, yeah,
Because you either get an aftermarket AC system or you'd option your car after the fact with it, but it
yeah,
wasn't
because
always
it wasn't
available.
common for cars in like New England or Michigan to come factory with AC, even
No.
though it gets to 100 degrees and 100% humidity in the summertime. They just didn't. They didn't offer them that way. He just, I guess, just stayed home when it was real hot.
Yeah, and then I guess you didn't need to defrost your windows either.
But I guess not. You just had an ice scraper for the inside. No big deal.
Yeah,
Big flat
exactly.
glass. But anyway, it was neat to see that with the aftermarket 4x4 conversion. Oh, there was a two-door Trooper that was in the yard.
Yep.
That was probably, but it was again, it was like an '86 or '87. So that was definitely one of the newer vehicles and a foreign vehicle that was in the yard.
Cool.
So yeah, it was a neat place. It was cool to see the history of the cars. Like you could see some of them that had been maybe restored at one point, and then just daily driven until they were dead. Some that looked pretty original. There were some former race cars that still had numbers and names on the doors, and it was a cool history lesson, I guess.
It was also like super clean for a junkyard.
Yes, it was very clean and organized.
Actually, you shouldn't even call it a junkyard. It's not a junkyard. It's a salvage yard.
Yep. Yeah, it's
Junkyard
not junk. It's all
is, yeah, implies that the stuff's not worth anything, which
yeah.
it's pretty valuable actually. I mean, for the most part. There's like
Yeah,
some,
when you think of you get somebody with a '65 Lincoln,
yeah,
you can't go to Ford and buy a new bumper.
yeah, exactly.
So they have they probably had 15 to 20 of that mid '60s Lincolns just stacked three high.
Hmm.
It was pretty neat.
Yeah, it was all organized, kind
Yep.
of like by like make, model, and I think the first row we walked up was kind of like Fords. It seemed like,
It was smaller Fords. So on the left side, it was all Pintos and Bobcats. And on the right side, it was all Falcons and Rancheros.
yeah, and then it kind of like morphed into like Chrysler products, and then the other
Yep. Again, it was
side,
weird too because
yeah,
it was small Chrysler's first. It was Darts and
hmm,
Valiants and stuff.
and then on the other side it kind of went into GM stuff.
Yep.
And I think it was like Pontiacs were kind of first, or maybe there was
Pontiacs and
Cadillacs.
Cadillacs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tons and tons and tons of '75 Eldorados, Andrew,
Yes.
for your project, future project.
That, well, It only needs seatbelts, unfortunately. Well, fortunately, it only needs seatbelts.
Yeah, well, at the moment, that's what we know. The car hasn't been driven in 15, 20 years.
Yeah. Well, nothing's rotted away on it, so there's
Right.
that. Needs horns, Cadillac horns.
Which you probably could have got while we were there.
Probably. I'm sure I
Had
can
we
go on
thought
their
of it.
website and just
Have them shipped right to you.
tell them what I want. It's not like
Yeah.
that's the other thing. You can't go. It's not a pick and pull yard
Yep,
because
you have to. He said to take a picture with your cell phone and bring it back up to him of what you want, and they'll send one of their guys out to pull it.
yeah, because otherwise people would
So,
just destroy everything.
yeah, I mean, have you been to like Holland's?
Yeah, I've been to
People are like,
all the
oh, I need a
local
radio
yards.
for
Yeah,
that, Caprice. I'm going to go through the windshield to get it.
yeah, exactly.
So, the people suck. But yeah, no, it's a good way to preserve the cars for all the parts, which is also
Mm-hmm.
good for their inventory, obviously, as well as just preserving the cars.
Right.
They don't want to sell you a part for $100 that you destroyed $1,000 worth of parts to get to.
Yep.
So that makes sense. But yeah, it was really neat. I would like to go back. Maybe go back with a purpose when I need something too. It would be fun.
Yeah.
But
Go buy a
it's
car
also
out
fun
of
to
there.
poke around. Pull the whole car out of there. There were a few that I wanted for sure. Like that 62 Plymouth wagon was really nice.
I know there were some of them that like even if you pulled them out of there, made them run and sent them up here, you could charge so much money up here for them.
Yes, for a nice
Like
southern car.
like even with the like people would there was the way they were like the paint was worn. I would literally just like matte clear them and just
Yep,
drive it.
it's a patina car.
Yeah,
You
but
got to
like a
rebuild the interior because it's completely sun-baked.
real patina, not airbrushed.
Yeah, not fake patina, exactly.
Yeah, and like I don't know. I feel like that would like fetch a lot of money up here because you don't see it.
Yep, no, it definitely would. It definitely would. So the reason we came out to the West Coast,
Yep,
Radwood,
Radwood, Vegas.
Radwood, Vegas.
Only the second time I've been to Vegas.
Oh, really?
Yeah, first
You
time
only
was
went
back
that one
in.
time we went in 2010?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once
Interesting.
was enough for a while.
Yeah, no, it doesn't get any better.
No, it's the same thing every time you go there.
Yeah, most cities in the U.S. seem to be improving.
Yeah,
Vegas just seems to stay the same.
yeah. It's dystopian Disney World.
Sorry to our listeners who live in Vegas, but
Yeah.
as an outsider, it's kind of gross.
At
The
night
strip
it looks
itself is just
cool,
dirty.
but
Yeah,
and
the
where the
strip
show
itself is
was
just dirty.
it was nice at the convention center. I would
Yep,
definitely like to
it's a
go there
fairly.
for SEMA.
Yes, I think we're gonna try to go. I'm gonna try to go this year.
Yes.
Um, or to the next SEMA show.
Mm-hmm. It's in November.
Yeah, I'll be out here in the West Coast anyway, so
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense.
So how did we get there? Do you want to talk about that?
Uh, yeah, we drove the Sapporo
Mm-hmm.
from Phoenix, where it is stored now,
Yep.
to Vegas, along with a friend of the show, Ron, and his Snarian,
Yep.
and his wife, Nanette, in her CRX.
Yep.
And it was a good time.
Yeah, it was like what is that? 5 hours? 6 hours? It's like
Uh, it would have
five-ish,
been
6.
5 hours if there wasn't a giant road closure trying to leave Phoenix.
Yeah, right at rush hour.
So we basically took about an hour, added an hour to the trip because they closed one of the major highways that we were headed to. So we drove through major rush hour traffic to get to this highway. And then we got there and it was closed due to police activity.
Right.
So we had to turn around and go all the way back through town, like an hour to connect the other way out of town.
Yeah.
So I guess some guy was trying to jump off the bridge.
Ah.
Yeah, that's what happened. So the guy deciding to end his life unsuccessfully really got in the way of our plans.
Yeah.
So hopefully he got the help he needs and he's okay. But yeah, it was definitely a frustrating start to the trip because A, it was 100 degrees, and B, it was rush hour, and C, we were hungry. So it didn't make for a lot of fun for the first hour or so, but
No.
we got through it and we got there.
No, once the sun went down, it was quite a nice ride.
Yep, yeah, it was really cool when the sun went down. Actually, it was very comfortable.
And we drove
So
over the overpass bridge that goes
the
above the
new
Hoover
bridge,
Dam.
yep,
Yeah, the new one.
yep,
Yeah, I'd
yeah.
been.
We were out there in 2010. They were still building it.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember. Did we in 2010? Could we drive over the
Oh
bridge? I mean,
yes,
over the
you
dam?
had to drive over it because that bridge
Right,
didn't
that's what I thought.
exist. That was the only way that
Now they
highway
don't.
went.
Yeah,
Yeah,
now they don't allow you to drive over the dam.
not at all. No,
Yeah, they're
that
building that bridge for two reasons: one, to make traffic faster, and two, for security at the dam.
exactly. So you can drive
So
down to the dam, and I think it's you're only allowed to walk across between the two
right,
states. Yeah,
so
because
we got
yeah,
we
Ethan,
get the privilege of driving across it ourselves.
yeah, Ethan Tufts and Paul. I don't want to say his name wrong. It's not the B the last name. It's slightly different.
On the Hello Road podcast.
Yes,
Yeah.
they were telling me that they walked all over the dam on Saturday because they hadn't been there before.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's funny to me because they're West Coast people.
not originally. Well, one of them isn't. Ethan's from
Yeah, but they've been here for a
Massachusetts.
long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of out of the way if you're not like going to Vegas for some other reason.
Yeah, I guess it's just being an East Coaster. All of these things in the West Coast are like romanticized. Like you want to go to the Grand Canyon, you want to go to the Hoover Dam, you want to go to Vegas, you want to go to LA. There are all these things that seem bigger um, in your mind than they are in real life. Except for the Grand Canyon, that's pretty big in real life.
Oh
But
yes,
yeah, that still impresses me to this day. But it just seems like I guess maybe being from the East Coast, all these things seem like everybody in the West Coast gets to go see them, every year for their annual school field trip or something. It's like
mm,
a doesn't seem like it's something somebody wouldn't do. But it's so vast out here that I can understand why you wouldn't.
but when you get
This
over, I think it's 90 Highway 93. Once you get past the dam, like the dam's pretty close to Las Vegas,
yes,
and then once you get through, like you're up in the mountains, and then all of a sudden you come down and you can see all Las Vegas. Like that's still pretty cool.
yeah, especially driving into Vegas at night, it's really neat sight.
Yeah, because last time I went there, we came in at night and you could see everything. It was pretty wild.
Yep, yep, it's really neat from an airplane too,
Mm-hmm.
flying into the airport in Vegas. But so Radwood, the show itself,
Yep.
um, a little bit smaller than most Redwoods.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that had to do with the fact that it was kind of a last minute Redwood.
Yeah.
The promotion wasn't exactly as strong it wasn't as strong as it could have been due to time more than anything else.
Yeah. I'm not sure the heat helped. I think some of the locals are like, I'm not gonna go hang out
Stand
because
in
it's
the
too
hot
hot.
parking lot for
Yeah.
4 hours. Yeah,
Yeah. Even though they
but
shifted it to night, which was cool, because like,
despite that, there was a lot of cool stuff.
yeah. And once like 2 hours in, it really cooled off. It was quite comfortable. It was nice.
Yep. Yeah, it was right under the shadow of the monorail too, which was neat.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a monorail in itself has a very 80s aesthetic to it because it's kind of what you picture when the monorail was a newer thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was really neat. A lot of cool cars came out. A couple cars that I've seen in pictures for years, but I've never seen in person. That low mile Galant VR4,
Right.
the one from Bring a Trailer.
Yep.
That was a really neat car. Um, the DR30 Skyline. That was a really neat car.
That's a super
That
neat car.
Yeah, that gets my pick for car of the show. Which actually I think it won Radisson show. Did it not?
I believe so.
Yeah, and the Galant actually won Radisson Future Collectible.
It did.
So that was cool.
I liked the 911 Speedster, the white one. I
Yes.
believe
Yep.
that's a
That was a
930.
no 930 is a 911 Turbo. unless is 930 Speedster. I don't know. I don't know Porsches enough. It's not
It's
my.
late 80s. I'm trying to look at the Tamiya kit that's over here. Maybe
It is
that's
a 930 Speedster.
yeah. And I just like that car because I don't think I've ever seen one in person.
Didn't you go to Radwood 2 with me?
I did. Was there? I don't remember there being one
There
there.
was a black one parked over by the bathrooms.
Oh, I guess it's not as noticeable in black. Like the white is where, like I thought they were all white. I'd never seen one that wasn't white, at least in pictures.
Yeah, no, there's
Or maybe
red, black,
silver.
gray,
Yeah.
yellow, silver. Seen quite a few different colors.
Huh.
And there's one in the Peterson too, at the Porsche Museum, the Porsche exhibit.
Well, I think I missed
But
that too. So
no,
to
no.
me, I picture that car as a white car with the white Fuchs and that just that low windshield. Like for some reason, I just think that's a really good looking car.
It is a really good looking car.
Because the regular cabs of those, I'm not particularly fond of. Don't think they look very good.
I think they look at the top down, but they're like goofy with the top up.
They look goofy with the top down, anyways, because the top just sits on top like a like a like a 1930s convertible. It's really
I
weird.
like that 50s Beetle.
Yeah, and I don't like that at all. Like 993 cabs are really really ugly to me. The last air cooled
I
ones.
disagree. I like them.
Yeah, I think the coupes are so much better looking.
I mean, I prefer a coupe. Don't get me wrong, but I don't hate the cab.
Yeah,
Not my chosen car, but
no,
I wouldn't turn one down.
that was probably my favorite car there. I think. Oh, and then the
Maybe even more so than the DR30.
yeah,
Hmm.
I like the DR30, but I'm trying to go with something not Japanese. Be a little different. Although,
No,
um, actually, that avocado Mercedes wagon,
that thing was like a concourse quality car.
yeah, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, for sure.
And I was really intrigued by the DeLorean with the Lotus drivetrain swap.
Yep, it had a twin turbo Lotus Esprit.
Yeah.
So that would have been like a late model, late 80s, early 90s Esprit, I think, with the
Mm-hmm.
V8.
And a gated
So that was really
shifter.
cool. Yep.
And
Well, that kind of makes sense because the DeLorean and the Esprit share some DNA.
very little, but barely.
Yeah, I think that the chassis backbone was the same though. Like,
I don't think it is. I think it's like similar in design, but I don't think it would like swap.
hmm,
I think there was a lot of work involved in that, and I think I was talking to Ron about it afterwards. I think he said the guy did it like many years ago, actually, that swap to that car.
yeah, he built it in his garage.
Yeah, and then it had the HRE like Ferrari F40 style wheels.
Yep, there was actually a discussion about that as well.
Yeah, just go underwater.
Yes. Sorry. Um, there was the wheels on that particular car.
Yeah,
He called HRE because he wanted to change the size of them,
yeah,
and HRE told him that they didn't exist.
really?
Yeah,
Huh?
they told him they didn't make them. There's no way they made them. You've never seen them before. It's not something that they could help him with. And he was like, "Well, I'm looking right at them, and they're stamped HRE, so you definitely made them." And he goes, "Nope, not all."
Well, I feel like there's two different HREs. There's like Hayashi whatever Racing Enterprises, and then there's the HRE that's in the United States, and it's super
I don't know about.
confusing. I don't know why there's two,
Yeah.
but like the wheels on my Talon are definitely
Mm-hmm.
like Japanese HREs,
Mm-hmm.
and they're probably not. If I called them up, they'd probably say the same thing to me about the wheels because they're not the American HREs. And I'm sure, like, I've tried to research it, but there's not much on the internet. Maybe somebody else knows more about it and they can drop us a line about it. But I feel like there's some disconnect between the HREs that were made in the 80s and 90s in Japan and then the ones that you could buy here now. I don't think they're the same company, even though it's the same name.
Hmm.
You know, like the
I would
new,
have.
like the new Polaroid
I talking about
camera.
the new ones they use to see a lot of Corvettes and stuff now.
Yeah, yeah,
I'd have to look into that too. I don't know for a fact.
yeah. I
I
don't.
thought,
I feel like they're not the same,
okay,
but so
I,
that's entirely
I don't
possible.
know enough to discuss that.
Yeah,
Um, our wheel expert listeners will have to check in on that.
yeah,
I know our friend Paul knows a lot about that stuff.
yeah. But it reminds me
So
of
he,
like the new Polaroid cameras that you can buy are not made
yep.
by the same Polaroid company. They just use reuse the name and it's some other company now because the actual Polaroid went out of business a number of years ago. So
Speaking of wheels,
yes,
our friend Ron went with us to the show,
that's right. That's his fourth
and
Radwood.
it's the fourth Radwood his car has been to.
Yes.
So Ron bought a Starion sight unseen in Connecticut
Hmm.
with the sole intention of bringing it to Radwood,
Philly.
Philadelphia, which he did.
Yep, that's on our episode Road Starion.
Right, because he came on as a guest.
That's right.
He does not live in Connecticut or Philadelphia. He lives in Phoenix, Arizona. So the whole thing was kind of a crapshoot, and he managed to pull it off. And then after leaving Philadelphia, he drove the car to Phoenix, sorted the car a little bit more, drove the car from Phoenix to Austin, Texas for Radwood, Austin,
Yep.
drove the car back to Phoenix, then drove it to, I think my order screwed up a little bit here. I think LA was before Austin.
LA was before
Um,
Austin because it went Philly, LA was in December, and then Austin was in the spring.
okay, so
Either
he drove it to
way,
LA, and then he drove back to Phoenix, and he drove to Austin and back to Phoenix, and then he drove it to Las Vegas and back to Phoenix.
yeah,
But the Radwood organization and Momo Wheels decided that due to his dedication, they were going to offer him a set of the new Momo Heritage 6 wheels.
yep,
Just because he's been to so many events, brought the car to so many events, and just kind of to show their appreciation and give him something for his dedication to the event.
yeah, and it's in the
So,
spirit of driving to all these events.
yep,
Put some nice
yeah,
wheels in the car.
exactly. So he's got a set of those coming. We're actually trying to figure out exactly what sizes he needs to get to make it fit the car perfectly because he wants to go a little bit aggressive with the fitment.
Cool.
Yeah, not like full on stance boy, but he wants to make the thing look perfect.
Well,
So we're looking at
yeah, they are 17s.
they're 17s, and you
Yeah,
can get them in any offset and size he wants. That within their range, obviously, and he wants to also lower the car before fitting the wheels.
cool.
So the car will have a totally different setup by the next Radwood event. So
Nice.
that'll be really cool. So
And they're
there's
like
actually a group buy for Starion and coilovers this month. So that works out very well because they're like $700.
nice.
Yeah.
And then the wheels are. I think you told me, was they gonna go with a gold or a bronze?
He's trying to decide between black or bronze. I think he should go with the bronze to go against the Palermo gray Starion color.
Yeah, I'd go with the bronze.
I think so.
And then the hub
We'll see what
bore.
happens, though. It's ultimately his car, his choice. They won't
Yeah,
look bad in black. I just think they'll look better in bronze.
yeah. I mean, personal taste on my end. I'm not a huge fan of solid black wheels,
Right?
but
Depends on the car.
it very much depends on the car. And there's very few cars that look good with solid black wheels, if any. Or I'm just tired of it because every new car comes with them now.
I think that's what's ruining it is the new OEM cars with black wheels.
Hmm. And I don't know what color he powder coated his wife's Tesla's wheels,
They're
but
gray.
I feel like all right, good, because I feel like a lot of Tesla owners like powder coat their wheels black.
Yep. Or maybe they are black. I don't remember. It's a Tesla, so I didn't really notice.
Yeah, it's not really my thing, but I guess
Yeah,
if you don't
I
want
get
to,
it. It's cool, but it's not my thing.
the problem is with like a gloss black wheel, you still have to clean it a lot because otherwise it turns gray brown from all the brake dust.
Right. Against the black tire, it looks terrible.
Yeah. Well, the tire will turn the same color too, and then when you see a car that's not taken care of at all with black
It
wheels,
just looks dirty.
looks really bad. But
Yeah,
that's a
agreed.
as we get off on this tangent on black wheels that we don't like.
I I like them on some things. I've always liked them. The factory steering wheels I thought always looked good in black against a red car.
Uh, Maybe
Yeah, I think so, but that's just personal opinion.
not into it.
I could be
Uh,
wrong. I usually am.
Now, uh, speaking of like black finished things, the Net's CRX is like super nice, like super shiny black. That car is really cool.
Yep, that's a cool car. She bought that car. I think she had one either in high school or right after high school.
Mm-hmm.
So she wanted to relive the nostalgia of that.
And it's like pretty much stock for the most
Yeah,
part.
it's lowered a little bit. That's about
Yeah,
it.
but
It's got springs, I think.
when was the last time you saw one that was like nearly stock?
Never.
So that was really cool. Anything else about
It
Radwood?
was. I don't think so. I think I'm going to keep this to a short episode tonight, so
Yeah,
we'll probably wrap it up around there for tonight.
yeah,
Fortunately, got some time constraints this evening, but 30 minutes is better than no minutes.
yeah. And if it's doesn't sound great, I don't want to make you listen to all of it. So
Yeah.
we're gonna work on it. Give us feedback on the way this one sounds, and we'll do
Yeah,
our best to
that's more
improve it.
important what's going on here.
Yeah, this is more of a test because
Oh,
we want to continue doing this podcast as where Brad is moving away from where I live, but we
yeah,
still want to do the
we'll
podcast.
have better mics. That's
Yeah,
the big thing.
yeah. What are we gonna say?
Um, speculation.
Oh yeah,
So we have another StarQuest Market Watch.
yep.
Another one just went up on Bring a Trailer.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a local car. It's in New Hampshire. That's an 86 Conquest in black with black leather.
Like 25,000 miles on it.
25,000
It's a
miles.
mint,
Really nice car. It has been repainted once.
right?
I assume maybe it just sat outside somewhere and the paint faded. So, as you did in the 80s and 90s, you just had the whole car resprayed. So I think that might detract a little bit from it. And it's an 86, which will detract a little bit from it as well. There's a lot of 1 year only parts in 86. Not as desirable. It's probably the least desirable of the wide cars. So that will affect the value a little bit, I think.
I don't think
But
non-Starion people buying them will care.
no, it's pretty well known. The 86 has some troublesome issues with fuel injection and ECUs. I think that you're probably looking at a $12,500 car by the time the auction ends. It's at what, $5,000 right now?
Oh, I feel like it was could be right now. A few minutes ago, you first sent it to me, it was like $2,500,
Oh, is it that low?
but it had a number of days to go.
Yeah, it's still 6 days to go.
Yeah,
It literally just went up.
and I don't know. After riding in Ron's and just all the ones I've ridden in that you've owned, I'm like, maybe I should have one of these at some point.
They're nice cars. They're fun to drive when they work right,
Mm-hmm.
and once they're maintained and working right, they work right forever.
Mm-hmm.
You just need to maintain them. That's all.
Yeah,
They get a bad rap, but they're really good cars. So,
I think they're pretty cool looking.
but yeah, that's my thought. I think it's going to be a $12,500 car by the time the auction's done. But, so we'll see what happens. By next week we'll know.
Cool.
Starion Market Watch continues.
All right. So as always, follow us on Instagram, Auto Off Topic. Follow us on Facebook, Auto Off Topic Podcast. Been posting a lot of Radwood content and other stuff from being out west. And follow me on Instagram, Raced in Anger. And Brad, where can they follow you?
They can find me on Instagram at TSISS350.
All right, cool. Keep cars analog and aim for the roses.